Hi there, I'm Ibrahim Al-Ali, and today we're going to be talking about Steve Jobs, who is also known as the co-founder of Apple. Born on February 24, 1955 in San Francisco, California, he was adopted, and for a long period of his life, he did not realize that he was half Arab. His biological father was Syrian, and his mother was American. He's a person that made a positive impact in the history of communication and social media. He did not just revolutionize communication, he reinvented it with the world's first touchscreen phone, which was released in 2007. The phone sold out worldwide in only 2 months. This small piece of technology had a 3.5-inch screen, a 2-megapixel camera, and a maximum capacity of just 16 GB of storage. Nowadays, iPhones have a 48-megapixel camera, more than 60 times the amount of storage, and a 6.1-inch screen. Apple makes $157 billion a month. That's 160 more times when the first iPhone was launched. Sadly, great times have a great end, after he died of complications of pancreatic cancer on the age of 56, 5th October 2011.
Hello there and welcome. I would like to talk to you briefly about an individual who changed the face of modern Latin America and who took on one of the greatest colonial powers in history and won. Simón Bolívar was born on 1783 to an aristocratic background and yet devoted his life to liberating Latin America. Inspired by the French Revolution, Bolívar expelled the Spanish governor of Venezuela and declared its independence in 1811. When this was retaken by the Spanish, Bolívar escaped to New Granada, from where he went back to defeat them. He declared himself dictator of Venezuela, which caused a civil war to break out, exiling Bolívar to Jamaica. In 1817, Simón Bolívar came back to lead an invasion of New Granada, which forced a Spanish surrender. He then defeated their forces from Venezuela to Bolivia from 1821 to 1825. Bolívar's dreams of liberating Latin America were finally realized, and so he convened a league of those self-same liberated states in Panama. However, when war broke out between Venezuela and Colombia in 1826, Bolívar declared himself dictator of Colombia, which made his opponents try to assassinate him, but he escaped to Great Britain in exile. When he learned that his most trusted army general in Peru had revolted against him, he journeyed back to Spain, where he died of tuberculosis in 1830. Bolívar is regarded by many as one of Latin America's greatest historical figures, as there are few others who displayed the rare combination of strength, prophetic vision, and poetic power that distinguished Simón Bolívar. Thank you.
This lady was known as the Moses of her people. She was born 5th out of all of her 9 siblings who were sold into slavery. Even as a young girl, she was hired out to different owners who put her through whippings, punishments, and lots more. Her life turned around when she was running an errand to a neighborhood store, and an owner tried to throw a very heavy rock at an escaping enslaved person, but it hit her instead. Her injury caused her a lifetime suffering from narcolepsy, which is a sleeping disorder. Harriet's owner tried to sell her, but nobody was willing to buy her because of her disorder. Hence, she was sent to work with her father, Ben Ross. He taught her many different skills that increased her physical strength and put her in touch with free black sailors who shipped wood from the north to the north. From there, she gained lots of valuable and secretive information that proved to be helpful later on. Sometime later, in 1844, she met a man, John Tubman, and later married him. Harriet's owner died in 1845. His widowed wife tried to sell all of their enslaved people, and Harriet feared that she would be sold away from her family and she would never be able to get in touch with them. Then she remembered that she heard of an underground railroad. which is a secret network of safe houses, boat captains, and wagon drivers willing to take enslaved people traveling north. She and her brothers attempted to escape, but they feared that they would be caught and punished. So hence, later in 1849, she set out on her own. Harriet returned 13 times to free her niece, brothers, parents, and many others. She earned the name Black Moses and worked consistently with art activists. Harriet worked as a Union Army nurse, scout, and spy during the Civil War in 1863. Then she became the first woman in the United States in history to plan and lead a military raid, liberating nearly 700 enslaved people in South Carolina. Isn't that one of the biggest achievements? Tubman became active in the fight for women's rights to vote in 1896, appearing at the founding convention of the National Association of Colored Women and a women's suffrage meeting in Rochester, New York. She told the audience that she was a conductor on the Underground Railroad and never lost a passenger. Harriet Tubman died on March 10, 1913. Even on her deathbed at the age of 91, her final words were, "I go away to prepare a place for you." Thank you.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt was born in 1882, Hyde Park, New York. He was an only child, born into a rich family. His father, James Roosevelt I, was a businessman and politician, and his mother, Sarah Delano, was the second wife of James Roosevelt I. Roosevelt attended Trojan School and Harvard University, two very prestigious institutes of learning. He also attended Columbia Law School, although he left after passing the bar exam to practice law in New York City. Roosevelt wanted to devote his life to public service, and at just 28, he won a seat in the U.S. Senate. And during World War I, he was the Assistant Secretary of the Navy. In 1921, tragedy struck as Roosevelt fell ill with polio, which left him unable to walk. Few people thought he would remain a politician, but he kept fighting with the help of his wife Eleanor. He was then elected governor of New York from 1929 to 1932. Roosevelt was the first president in 1932 during the country's worst economic crisis. He was an inspiring speaker, and he told Americans, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." He created job programs to help get America back on its feet. Roosevelt was elected 3 more times, in 1936, 1940, and 1944. When Roosevelt began his third term, World War II was already raging in Europe, but he wanted to keep peace. However, after the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, his view changed. He said in his most famous speech, December 7th, 1941, "A day that will live in infamy. The United States was suddenly and deliberately attacked by air and navy forces of the Empire of Japan." He died in office on April 12, 1945. Roosevelt is remembered for being an inspirational speaker that helped get America back on its feet through tough times like the Great Depression and World War II. His impacts on modern history are still affecting us today, and he is a prominent figure in the history of America.